How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me is Leonard. This is a show about wrestling. And this week, we are bringing to you a recap of AEW Full Gear 2022. Leonard did not watch it. As anybody who checks us out regularly knows, he wasn't planning on watching it.
You didn't ask me if I watched it or not. Maybe I did.
It's true. Have you?
I didn't. I totally did not.
They didn't.
I totally did not.
That's
I had
all
no concept. It was even on, aside from the fact that, as I told you, I'm in a fantasy pick'em thing on Facebook. And of the 13 matches, I missed 4.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to see which ones you missed here as we go along. But this event was held at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, which is in my neck of the woods. So I wanted to go to this. I had a feeling about certain things that were going to happen. I felt that this was a big show for them, and I really wanted to go. So that's what I did. And I got there. They had AEW Full Gear 0 Hour, which was like, kind of like the pre-pay-per-view matches going on. And I didn't see all of those. But it was held on Saturday, by the way. They've kind of, you never know when their events are going to be. Sometimes they're on Sunday, sometimes not. But this one was on a Saturday, November 19th. So the 0 Hour, it started out, there was a 10-man tag, the Best Friends against the Factory, which included Trent Barreto and the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, Rocky Romero, and Danhausen against the Factory, QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, Lee Johnson, Nick Camarado, and Cole Carter. Best Friends won that. I wasn't there yet. I also was not there yet for Ricky Starks defeating Brian Cage in the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament semifinals. But I did get there for the last match of the 0 Hour, which was Eddie Kingston defeating Yun Akiyama by pinfall. So Yun Akiyama was also on Rampage the night before, and he's a legendary Japanese figure, and it was really cool to see him. He doesn't come to the States very much, but he was promoting his wrestling company, which I want to say DDT is the name of it. But it was really cool to see him, and Eddie Kingston was very emotional in the ring because I guess, Akiyama is one of his idols. So that's when I got into my seat, standing in the merch line. So was, it took a little bit. So I was able to get my stuff and get a beer, Leonard, before I was able to sit down. You got to have the essentials ready when you're getting ready to take your seat, right?
Usually I will like to get there and find the seat, and then I wait for the piss break match.
Well, we'll get there.
Because usually there's not a lot of people out. So that I always find that to be a good time if you're going to hit the merch table or food or whatever, is, wait maybe 2 or 3 matches in, or at least wait to what is considered to be the piss break match. So we'll see what that was.
Right. Well, so the first match, we knew what that was going to be because they had the cage being lowered down, and it would be Jungle Boy Jack Perry against Luchasaurus with Christian Cage. And this match went about 18 minutes and 40 seconds, and it was a steel cage match, and it was pretty good. This is a feud that's been going on for a while. It's been kind of, tainted by injuries. Christian Cage is injured, and Jungle Boy Jack Perry was out for a little while. But they managed to get off a decent match. I gave it, we'll go out of 10 for this rating, Leonard. We won't do anything weird. I gave it about a 7 out of 10. The next match is sure to be Leonard's favorite, which is Death Triangle of Pac, Penta El Cerro Miedo, and Rey Fenix against the Elite of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, Leonard's favorites. And this match went about 18 minutes and 40 seconds. It was for the World Trios Championship. And apparently this is going to be a best of 7 series. Now, Leonard wouldn't even have had to watch this. I already know what he would probably have said about it. But this, to me, was the match of the night. This was, insane. And I gave it about 8.5 out of 10. It was a blistering pace throughout. One notable thing not related to the match, however, I knew there would be weird chants. It is Jersey. And sure enough, you can see the video on Twitter, Leonard, if you care to look it up. The FCM Punk chants started right away. And you can hear that on the event itself, which it was pretty loud. Everybody was pretty much chanting it.
Yeah. Now this is one I did miss, and I would have went the other way if I knew it was best of 7.
Yeah.
Because the Elite's not losing, but they would lose the first match and best of 7, so they can pretend that they're trying.
So like this,
trying to get someone over.
They lost the first match, and the fact of the matter is, it was a weird situation because you had them getting suspended due to the CM Punk situation. They had won the Trios Championship. So, on one hand, yes, it's going to be pretty obvious that they're going to win it back. However, if we get a ton of really good matches out of it, I'm okay with that. But we'll see where it goes. You never know. The next match is the piss break match. And it was Jade Cargill against Nyla Rose for the AEW TBS Championship. It went about 8 minutes, and I think half the crowd got up during the match.
How many belts does AEW have? Because on quick look, it looked like of the 13 matches, like 10 of them was for a belt.
They have quite a few belts, but I will say this. They have, in my opinion, they have proven to do good things with their belts. And they're not watered down. The belts mean something. Even the FTW belt, which is not a recognized championship, they've managed to make look like it has weight to it. Because these championships are constantly defended. The matches are competitive. In the case of the TBS Championship, Jade Cargill won it initially, and she's still undefeated. So, yeah, they do have quite a few belts. But this match was what it was. This is one of those feuds that, the challenger stole the belt and proclaimed themselves the champion. We've seen those feuds forever and a day throughout wrestling history. So this one was somewhat predictable. But I gave this one, we'll go about 4 out of 10 on that one. So the next match would be a 4-way for the ROH World Championship, and that is Chris Jericho against Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, and Sammy Guevara. This match went about 21 minutes and 30 seconds. And again, it was very, very good. Chris Jericho won. And I think that was the right call for him to come out the victor, because I think you can still have some mileage out of him being the champion and giving it more notoriety. But it was a good 4-way match as far as 4-way matches go.
And this was another one that I missed because I didn't think they would take the title off of Claudio so soon. And I wouldn't have guessed it, because to me that feels like Jericho is stepping down to take the Ring of Honor.
Well, what he's done so far is claim him. It's it's the Ring of Jericho, and he's trying to destroy the legacy of Ring of Honor by challenging anybody who's been a former ROH World Champion. He calls himself the Ocho, because I guess it's his 8th world title. So it's been fun. It's been a fun thing. The only downer has been one of the weeks leading up to this, they had him. He was going to challenge a mystery opponent who was a former ROH World Champion, and everybody had wondered, oh man, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And it was Colt Cabana, which was didn't go over as well as they thought it would, but also could be argued was possibly a middle finger to CM Punk.
Yes,
very loose way. So.
I would have to watch the whole thing, but I would be kind of against. Let's give the Ring of Honor world title to a guy whose gimmick is Ring of Honor can suck my dick.
Yeah, he's beating up announcers and
that seems counterproductive to wanting to get Ring of Honor over.
Well, we'll see. They have a pay-per-view coming up in December, so we'll see how that does.
Okay.
I gave that one, I'll probably about an 8 out of 10 for that one. It's also worth noting that Sammy Guevara's entrance video is pretty cool. It has it's like a Dragon Ball Z type video with him in anime form beating up various people, which I thought was neat. The next match is Dr. Britt Baker against Saraya, just a regular singles match, about 12 minutes and 30 seconds. And this is obviously Saraya's return match. It's been many years since she was in the ring, and I'd be lying if I said there was zero ring rust. I think this is a combination of not being in the ring for a while, also being very nervous, very emotional. Like if anybody watching Dynamite leading up to this, you could tell that the nerves were there. She even said at the post event scrum that breaking kayfabe, she said that, Britt basically, carried her throughout the whole process of the match, putting over how well she was to work with, which is cool to see. I gave the match about 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good. I'm anxious to see how she does as she, keeps doing matches. I'm sure it'll be a more of like a Brock Lesnar type schedule for her. I doubt she's going to be wrestling weekly, but it was cool to see her back in the ring. Everybody seemed to be watching this one. See, like, I'm trying to remember, like, when I got up to, refill my drink. I didn't get up during the Jade and Nyla Rose match, Leonard, because that's when everybody got up, and I didn't think it didn't make any sense because that's when everybody was doing their thing.
Right. You need to find the right window.
Right. No, I wrote that. So it was this next match, as I'm thinking out loud. The next match is for the AEW TNT Championship, a triple threat match. Samoa Joe against Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs. And they made the right call here by having Samoa Joe win the TNT title. He has both the ROH TV title and the TNT title now. Wardlow didn't get pinned in the process. So you have Wardlow continuing to look strong, and you have Samoa Joe with 2 belts now, as they slowly move him up the card, because it makes sense for Wardlow to kind of, he'll be moved on from this feud here in a little bit, and it'll make sense given what happens at the end of the night.
And I missed this one as well because again, same logic. Why take the belt off of Wardlow so soon after him winning it? And Wardlow seemed to be the guy who was on the rise. So
yes.
keep that title on him. So that,
if I had to guess, there's logic to it.
Yeah. Well, again, without watching the product, it's me kind of looking logically from a distance.
Right. I gave this one about 7 out of 10, by the way. The next match was Sting and Darby Allin against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. A no DQ tag team match. It went about 11 minutes. I forgot to add that the triple threat TNT match went about 9 minutes and 55 seconds. But this tag match went 11 minutes. And, this was just a blast to watch. I knew that it was going to be battling in the crowd. Sting and Jay Lethal were battling like a section over from where I was, which was really cool. Sting, did one of his crazy leaps, off of one of the guardrails or whatever. It was just cool to see, to see these guys in the ring. Sting is clearly having a blast in his part-time role. It just makes you look back at his short WWE stint and kind of shake your head because they are doing really well with him here in his like mentor role. He doesn't wrestle all the time, but when he does, it's always like a special thing. So for that one, I went about 7 out of 10. And as you're hearing here, this is a long card. So there was a lot of matches. And like I said, I didn't even show up for all of it.
So when did you get out of there?
I got out of there it was a little bit before midnight.
That's too late.
A little bit before midnight. So the next match was for the interim AEW Women's Championship. Jamie Hayter against Toni Storm. The crowds have been very pro Jamie Hayter, and obviously Tony Khan was listening because she won the interim title here in about 15 minutes. This was a really good match. I gave it about 7.5 out of 10. Both ladies worked really well. It made sense for them to put it on Jamie Hayter here. They can have her go into any number of feuds after this. And, she's really hot with the crowd. She's good in the ring. So no complaints.
Well, this is the other one I missed because I went Toni Storm. Again, she just won it. Why move it? And it's the interim title. It's not even the real belt. So it seems kind of stupid to me that you're moving a fake belt around.
Well, I mean, they do that in UFC sometimes, like when a guy's out for an extended period of time and it's the interim belt. But in this case, I don't think they know what they're doing with Thunder Rosa yet. I don't know if it's a combination of injury or backstage issues or just the backstage issues. I think, from what I've heard, they don't know when or if they're going to bring her back. So we'll see. The second to last match is the Acclaimed against Swerve in Our Glory. This is the rubber match in that feud for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. It went about 19 minutes and 40 seconds. The Acclaimed came out the victors here, and as predicted, the Swerve in Our Glory tag team looks to have been broken up as Keith Lee kind of walked out towards the end of the match. This was a good match. Everybody that watches AEW enjoys watching the Acclaimed and, Billy Gunn with them. The scissoring thing is stupid, but it's fun. You can point to any number of things in any number of wrestling companies that were stupid but fun. But this was a good match. Both these tag teams were very good and, brought the energy to this feud. So I liked this one a lot. I would give it about 7.5 out of 10. The main event was MJF against Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. And this was the main reason why I wanted to go, because I thought that this was going to be a big turning point for the company. They've been they've been kind of gradually getting to this point where they give MJF the belt, and he's the heel champion that is probably going to have a healthy reign ahead of him. And the big news was that William Regal turned on Jon Moxley and handed MJF the brass knucks and allowed MJF to win. The match was very good. I would give it about an 8 out of 10. And I think that the reason they moved the title off of Wardlow is to eventually get to a feud between he and MJF, because there's history there. Wardlow was his bodyguard once upon a time. So that, to me, is an easy one there to go for. I assume that's what he's going to go for, he being Tony Khan, in the long run. We'll see. Did we get all the ones you missed?
Yes. It was, I figured the Elite would never job, and then I didn't think they would move the 3 title belts from the people who just won them.
Yeah. I thought that there would be a good, a couple title changes here, and I was right. Overall, the event was a blast. We were talking in text message. There were 2 close fights in the sections, kind of both around me. One of them, I guess, during the event itself, you could hear people reacting to. I don't know that to be true, but I think that happened because the crowd ended up chanting and being excited that a guy got ejected. So it definitely, if everybody was feeling a little bit of fatigue from all these matches, that fight, which occurred during the Acclaim match, definitely got everybody raring to go again. I thought this was a really good event. It was a lot of fun, and I'm anxious to see where they go with MJF as champion. I do think that they were hoping this was going to be the rubber match between CM Punk and MJF, and I think they were going to have MJF win it from Punk here. Obviously, that didn't happen, but I think that was the plan. It would have made sense storyline-wise for them to have that third match. But irregardless, I think that the plan always was for MJF to win the title at this event. So let me know what you thought of the event if you watched it, and please comment and check out our other videos, our stupid questions, random match reviews, segment surgery. Check us out on Apple Podcast and or Spotify. And for Leonard, my name is Chad. We will see you next time, and Alexa will see you out.